Here's some big news. XRP's Bitcoin, they are holding it and it is also pumping right now. Take a look at these things. In fact, they're staying above this level. That's really evil, isn't it? It was very clear that the price was going up on the 4-hour, 12-hour, and daily periods. Bullish divergences were everywhere. There were a lot of them. Okay, now listen. They have more than 2,260 satoshis. All right, XRP will now pump, and we hope it grows into something much bigger, right? At this point, they're actually holding it above, which is evil, right? Again, if we could just get a little push, Ripple, call Ripple. This chart gets a little push if XRP goes up against USC while Bitcoin just chills out. In the end, this chart will finally have energy to go even higher because the higher time frames will be proven correct and it's all bullish. From what I can tell, everything is going up right now. That's fine. Guys, this is a strange signal. This is something I want to bring up because we talked about it, I think, a year ago. Do you remember that I said cryptos or the collapse would not happen until this game comes out? Only until this game comes out. You guys are not joking. This is one of those strange signs, and we haven't reached the point where things will fall apart yet. Yes, we are not yet at the point of breakdown. This is because Rockstar Games tweeted that a new game called GTA 6 is now supposedly going to come out on May 26th. Guys, this is one of the most anticipated games in a long time, right? It's like a really famous game that everyone is supposed to be waiting for right now. Pay close attention to the reason why stocks and crypto won't crash before this point. It's been an idea of mine for about a year now, and I think it's because they want as many people as possible to buy this game. I mean, imagine if the economy crashed. Do you think people would go out of their way to buy a game? They probably would because everyone is hoping for this game, but they wouldn't make as much money as if they put it out before the collapse. Then it collapses and it all starts over again. Although this may seem like a strange signal, I honestly believe that the collapse takes place after this game is released. It takes place after the States supposedly takes place, but that's just my idea at this point. There are a lot of positive statistics coming in, and as we can see, the North Carolina Senate has passed a bill to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. At the same time, Cindy said that Senator Cynthia said President Trump supports her bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin. What is this, guys? Bitcoin isn't messing around, by the way. If they do decide to buy 1 million Bitcoins, they'll have to do it over the counter and on the open markets. There will be less of what on these markets. Is this true? If it is, we're going to go to the moon. Let's listen to this and figure out what the price target would be if this actually happened. Wow, it's interesting to hear that President Trump also likes this idea. The system is safer, stronger, and better able to meet our needs around the world when it is used. With this great new digital ledger-based asset, we should be the world leaders. It will change the way the economy works and give the average American worker and worker all over the world power over their own money. Wow, this great new technology and the fact that America is leading the way in putting it into use is a real blessing for hardworking people all over the world. Yes, but please move faster. That's the point, right? But pay attention to this. There's no reason to think that these clinically high price goals are crazy. Why? Positive. In 2025, people think Bitcoin will be worth between $122,000, 0 cents, and $700, 0 cents. Most figures from big banks, investors, and funds are between 200, 0, and 250, 0 Bitcoin. BlackRock, on the other hand, says the goal should be 700, 0 Bitcoin, assuming that 2 to 5% of institutional portfolios are allocated to Bitcoin. What is this, please? We knew it. We knew it. Bitcoin was possibly getting close to $1 million before it crashed. Things like $500, 0 cents, $300, 0 cents, $500, 0 cents, $700, 0 cents, or even $1 million, guys. The price has to be one of those crazy ones. Okay. This is from BlackRock. They say 2% to 5% of institutional funding, correct? We only need to get 2% to 5% of their wealth to buy Bitcoin and it will be easy, easy, easy. 700K per Bitcoin is possible. We have price estimates for regular charters of 200K, 225K, and a few other amounts right here. 250K is a famous one, and 500K is said to be the norm here in the 100K range, right? Also, the main idea is that Bitcoin is a good way for big institutions to protect their money when the price goes up. It has a cycle with regulatory clarity, a liquidity boom, a demand shock, an interesting technical rally, and an interesting mood index. That being said, we shouldn't mess this up, even though I already did it. I messed up this whole bull market, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is from Ralph Powell. He says, skilled help. Do not mess this up. Why? Because guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. It's making me sick. Everything here, the big picture evidence, the technical evidence, and the sentiment evidence tells me that you should hold on to your hat, not just control your tokens, not use leverage, not get your wallet hacked, but just sit with it, be careful, not get ripped off, and do all the right things. Then we'll move on to the next phase of correction. That's going to be harder because I'm taking up to 25% off the next one. He's basically saying that there's a parabola in the shape of guys right now, and this is the current cycle shown on the right chart on his screen. A parabola shapes up, and the middle of the fight of midway is currently happening. Once we cross this bridge, we'll reach the banana zone where everything goes completely crazy. So don't mess this up. He's saying, hey, that might be the case because if we follow this, this is the stock market, right? And remember, when the stock market goes up, cryptocurrencies go up too. For example, SRP goes up after Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up after S&P and then Dow Jones. So if the stock market goes up, Bitcoin will go up too. This graph shows the S&P 500 from March 1996 to January 2001. And the connection up to now, right? Guys, there's a 97% connection. So what? Basically does the same thing now. The fractal and the black line from back then both point to the S&P going to climb a wall of worry. Yes. And that's likely to be some kind of top. Guys, if it does happen, follow this fractal before the crash or something like that. That's what it says right now. Could it be true that liquidity has shown us that we will also go up? This is from Arthur Hayes. Pay attention to what he says. We could see that the years 2026 to 2027 are crazy. Oh my God, everyone is like they're going to do everything. Have some leverage ratio and try buybacks and you'll be in charge of the market. Everything is open because everyone is behind Trump. After that, we'll think of a change that's too big. Then we fix it. Yes, that's when you guys want to be living. Yes, that's right. As guys, that's the only thing we have to do to stay alive. Okay, could we do that? I'm not sure. Things are getting tough. But from tech dev gold goes through the roof as liquidity breaks out and moves to Bitcoin. Then the turn from gold makes Bitcoin go through the roof. It's not a real story. It's interesting because gold, when it first came out, guys, right? The Cash Key Edge said they switched from gold to Bitcoin. Check out this, gold topped. Then Bitcoin began to move just as gold stopped moving. When Bitcoin's price started to go parabolic, the world's money supply started to move faster, right? It has gold on top right now. If that's the case, the money will flow into Bitcoin, which will take it to the moon and beyond, right? We'll see what happens. Guys, ZZ, the founder of Binance, just said that a lot of countries are buying Bitcoin to keep as a backup, right? Countries have no choice but to buy Bitcoin. Since the US has one of the biggest economies in the world and holds Bitcoin, other countries have no choice but to follow suit. If they don't, their crypto will become